What up, peeps? Bibby here, Poet Warriors. You guys already know the deal. Today, I would like to make a little snack on owning an audience, owning a stage, right? Which there are many, many ways. There are many ways that you can own the stage, like this guy just owned the road right there, coming by with his little motorcycle. I'm gonna make a little bit of series of this, right? Like, how can you, as a performer, whether you be a musician, whether you be, an actor, a dancer, any type of visual performance art, how can you own the audience? How can you own the stage? And the first one that I'd like to talk about is with eye contact. We here at Poet Warriors, you guys know, we've spoken about eye contact several times before, and the importance of eye contact and what that can do for you. And I'd just like to dive a little bit more into that. You guys can go back in our playlists and check those out on our snacks. But first and foremost is eye contact, right? Eye contact, although it's very, very small and somewhat difficult to notice if you're, way at the back of a 600-seat theatre, 1,000-seat theatre, right? It's still incredibly impactful, right? There's a huge difference in character work. Like, let's bring this to theatre for a moment, and we can expand on this. There's a big difference between somebody who walks onto stage, chest out, and they kind of, own their space with their eyes, right? They're looking directly at people. They're looking directly at the audience if that calls for it. They're owning the space with their eyes, with their confidence, right? It gives a very, like this tractor. I need my own little studio. With soundproof walls and everything. That obviously gives off a very regal effect, a very confident effect, a very powerful character, compared to somebody who comes onto stage, always looking down, kind of peeking up every so often, not making eye contact with anyone, right? That gives a very meek appearance. Dude, I don't know what it is today in people's tractors, my guy. Today in people's tractors. It's Destroy Bibby's Content Day, right? I mean, those two examples right there, someone who makes purposeful, impactful eye contact and somebody that really just doesn't know what to do with their eyes, can give off two very, very different, impactful character choices that says a lot. Now Helga's going off. This is a disaster. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that's with theatre, right? That'll give you two very distinctive, different characters, which gives the audience completely different feel, right? Say you're watching Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. Right, he's going to come on very regal. He's going to have very, very specific eye contact, which gives the impression to the audience, okay, this guy means business. This guy is high general. He's the king. He's the hero. He's the murderer, whatever, right? He's a powerful guy. And the audience sits there and listens. I mean, they're always listening, but, it puts them in their place and they're really paying attention to this one guy. Compared to somebody who's kind of very meek coming on in, not that they think less of him, but they're going to pay less attention, not with their viewing, but with what they're hearing, right? You see it all the time in modern day, public speakers. If they're there and they're calm and they're confident and they're scanning, they're looking, they're purposefully doing something with their eyes, you listen. Someone's coming in and they're kind of, you can tell they're nervous. It's a different story, right? And the same thing happens no matter what performance art we're talking about, right? Dancing is exactly the same. Musicians, exactly the same. for example, I did a snack recently on Cadillac 3. You guys can go check that out. It's in our playlists. I believe them to be some of the best performers, musical performers, live in concert, that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few. And in that snack, I actually compared them to Motley Crue. I've seen Motley Crue live, and I mean, they're fantastic, and I don't know who would be better, but Cadillac 3, a very small country rock artist, band, on par with Motley Crue, you know, and it's all because of how they own the audience and they own the stage. And part one, this video on how you do that is with eye contact. So pay attention when you're in a performance space to your eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, right? In life, on stage and off. Connect with your fellow actors as well as your audience, and make sure that what you do with your eyes is a purposeful, conscious choice. And I think that's the downfall of a lot of performers, is they don't know what to do with their eyes. They think a lot of it is their body, and they can kind of do what they want with their eyes, but no. You know, and what you do with your eyes actually leads your body language too. You know, if I'm kind of like this, you know, looking down and looking up, my body language is going to be much more closed off. Whereas if I'm, you know, out and I'm looking, like I said, you know, your chest's kind of out, you're like much more up. You know, it's a completely different stance, a completely different body language, which is what we'll talk about in the next one.
Tasty.